Hey y'all, it's me again. No, I wanted to run through another Bootstrap for you guys. I had a couple of students say, how do we actually bootstrap a categorical variable? And this is a little tricky, but it's actually going to be really, really similar to the way we bootstrap a mean. Okay, so I didn't start with data here. Let me find some data. I'm gonna pause. Okay, so I have a data set open here, and I'm gonna create a hypothesis test as we're going here. So this is the student survey data set. It comes from the Stat Prep book. It's a pretty good one. I'm gonna take the year in school. So this is some survey of students. I'm gonna go ahead and immediately create a new notebook, and I'm gonna paste. You guys notice I copy and paste it, right? So it's good categorical data, right? So then what I'm gonna do is I want to ask how many are seniors. So I'm gonna do an if statement here, and I'm gonna ask, is that cell equal to, and I think I have to do logically equal to, and then I'm going to ask if the student is a senior. Notice I put that in parentheses, and I'm going to ask it to return a 1 if it's true and a 0 if it's false. It looks like I made a couple of mistakes there. I didn't need the double equals. Sorry guys, different programming language requires different things. So here's my formula again. So I'm asking, is A2 equal to senior? If it is, give me a 1. If it's not, give me a 0. So let's see if I drag that down. Does it work? Looks like it's working. None of those people are seniors, right? Oh, where's my first senior? There's one right there. Ah, there's a 1. Okay, good. By the way, if you double click, it'll just complete it all the way down till there's a gap. Oops. So I dragged it down a little further. I double clicked again. The gap there just means that that person didn't have that recorded. You see that actually a lot in data, that there's gaps like that. So I'm scrolling down. Okay, I think I got it all the way down at the bottom. So now the question is, how many seniors did I have? Well, since I've made it ones and zeros, all I have to do is a sum of all these numbers. So I go up and eventually I'll get to the top. By the way, I could use the home keys, but I'm just using shift and the arrow right now. There we go. I get a sum. Looks like there's 36 seniors. I don't know about you guys. I didn't actually want to know how many seniors there were. The count isn't actually a great statistic. What I really want is the proportion. So to get the proportion, you just do the average here. So I do the average of this indicator. If it's a 1, if it's a senior, and it's a 0 if they're not. So you would get all the seniors, the 36 seniors, and you divide by the total number that there were there. So that would give me the proportion. So I again do that, and I get here that this is what, about 1/10 of the, a little less than 1/10 of the students are seniors. Cool. Okay, so I got the proportion. I got the proportion out of the data. And guys, notice 363 students didn't make a big difference in how long this took me to do, right? So I used an if statement, made it a 1 or a 0, depending on whether it was what I wanted or it wasn't. And then I could do the sum and I could do the average. Okay, but we're here for bootstrapping today, right? Okay, so we saw before that bootstrapping is using the index function. It is selecting my array. I'm just selecting the ones and the zeros. I'm freezing that array by hitting F4 or putting the dollar signs in there. And then I'm going to do the random part. I'm going to multiply that by the number of rows that are here. So again, I select this data. I freeze it with F4. I'll close that, and then I do that little add 1 thing. If you don't do the add 1, you don't get everything. So if I did that right, no, it won't let me autocomplete, will it? I can drag it all the way down, and I'm getting a random sample of 1s or 0s. I can also drag this across and get this divide by 0 because there was no data there. But you see, I did get a different bootstrap. Out of my bootstrap sample, I got a new bootstrap statistic. Cool. So let's do it more times. Once you do it once, if you've done it correctly and you've frozen those things correctly, you should be able to grab it and drag it across. Again, I always want to go out to at least 50. Some people suggest like 200. Remember, there's about 25 letters in the alphabet. So by the time I got to DZ here, I was doing pretty good. I was at about 100, I think. So again, these should compare to this value. They should be close. I shouldn't be getting 0, and I shouldn't be getting 90%, right? 0.9. So they're all relatively close to that number. So this right here is my bootstrap distribution. So I'm going to go ahead and select all that. And I like to do this every time. I'm going to insert a histogram. I like to see that histogram. I like to see that it has that nice normal shape, hopefully. A little skewed one way or the other. But it does give me that idea. So I'm pretty happy with that. Again, I'm going to just delete it. I don't need it. I would include it in my project though. But for here I created it and then I'm just going to let it go. So again, I selected that and I inserted the histogram. Okay, so to do my confidence intervals, I need to do the mean of the bootstrap distribution. Right, so I want the mean of the bootstrap distribution, so let's call it the mean. That's going to equal the average of this data right here. The average of just the bootstrap averages, which is kind of weird, right? Average the averages. It gave me a mean. And I will tell you right now, this mean and this mean should be very, very similar. So the sample mean and the bootstrap mean should be very, very close. They're never exactly right, but next thing I'm going to do is compute the standard error. The standard error is the standard deviation of the bootstrap distribution. So again, drag that across. All right, so I get a standard error of about 1.5%, 1.7%, 1.8, I guess. Okay, so now I can get my 95% confidence interval. So here I'm typing 95% confidence interval. Again, I'm going to do the lower and the upper bound. So I take the mean and I subtract twice the standard error. That gives me the lower bound. And then the upper bound is the mean plus twice the standard error. But you see what I'm doing there? I know I do this quickly, but I'm just using the formulas. So I got a confidence interval here between 7% and almost 13%. Cool. So what would be a hypothesis test here, by the way? A hypothesis test, let's think about this in terms of years. You would expect that the number of seniors to be about a quarter, right? I mean, there's 4 levels of school. So let's go ahead and test this hypothesis. The question is, does a quarter fall in my 95% confidence interval? And when we look, 0.25 is not in this confidence interval at all. So I'm actually going to be able to reject this as a null hypothesis. Oh, by the way, I did this. I shouldn't have done this. I should have called this P, right? P equals 0.25 proportion. And if we really want to be pedantic here, we're doing proportion, and maybe I should try to like do a little underscore of seniors. So I'm putting that below. So the proportion of the seniors should be 25%, but that does not fall in my confidence interval. So I would actually be able to reject my null hypothesis here. 25% of my interviewees were not seniors. I don't know about you guys, we actually expect that at eCentral. Most students end up being first year. I'm sure you guys remember students in the dorms with you that didn't make it through that first semester even. Some people just don't actually do very well at school, right? So every year a few students will drop out. Okay, so that is how we do this. So again, the real trick here was to change the categorical data into numerical data. Once you did that, you could just take the average of the numerical data. And then the rest is exactly the same as we did before, except the data are ones and zeros. Watch as you're going with your bootstrap. Make sure you didn't make any mistakes with this formula. This formula right here is your big important guy, this index of the data, the random times the rows of the data, and I'm freezing that each time, +1. Okay, guys, good luck. Keep working hard.